Hello, it's Thursday night. It's 7 o'clock, and it's Stephen Englander time. Thank you for joining me. Countdown's on now, isn't it? All the shops, we're going to be reopening in a few days' time. Really, really exciting. You know what I think's going to happen now? We're all going to start getting back to normal, and everybody's going to be starting fighting. And then all the politicians and all the people in power and all the the sort of lobby groups are all just going to be saying, you should have done this, you should have done that. Big arguments, everything's been done wrong, and but I'm grateful that we're beginning to be able to reopen. So coming up 12th of April, we can open shops, we can open pubs, we can open all sorts of things. But you know what's something that is upsetting, because I feel for my sister, Graham. Have you ever met my sister?
I've not. No. I've seen. Is that the one on the video?
Yeah. She runs a horse riding.
That was the one. Because I've been going through your videos.
You've got a thing for her now, haven't you?
Well,
you dirty, honestly.
I've got to say, I was impressed.
She's married.
No, because I was like, oh, I don't care about horses, and then I watched it. It was like, it was an hour as well, and it was really good.
No, she is. She knows what she's doing. But you know what's bothering me? Think of this one. Non-essential shops. You can go to Tesco's, but you couldn't go horse riding. So she's had to close that farm down, looking after horses, looking after everything, and she's got dogs there and all sorts of things. But why is she allowed? Why couldn't people go and horse ride? I mean, you're social distancing. You're on a horse. You're in a field.
Yeah, it's actually impossible to not social distance in that situation, isn't it? And you're outside. You're exercising fresh air.
But you can go to Tesco's.
Don't get me started on this, man.
No, you can.
Gyms have been closed for months. Can you imagine a disease that kills overweight people and we've closed the gyms? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, I suppose I get that, because you're still inside and you sweaty, dirty changing room and all that type of thing. But why horses? Why an outside activity? And I think this type of thing is going to go on for a while now. I think that people are going to be looking at, well, why did I have to close? Why did I have to move that way? I don't know. I think, but I'm not here to criticise, because you know what? If I was in China and I was criticising the government, I'd probably lose my financial status, my credit scores, wouldn't I?
Oh yeah. You can't go on the trains, you can't go on flights, you can't buy houses in certain areas. It's horrific in that sense.
Can you imagine that coming here? Because what they've got a sort of identity system, haven't they, where you use your phone and use other things to say who you are. And you sort of like get points taken off you if you say bad things about the government or contradict them. And do you get points if you say nice things about them?
Oh, come on, Stephen. As if you'd mind if, like, you suddenly found out loads of people weren't allowed to move to your area. You'd be like, this is...
Well, it depends. It depends where they're moving from, doesn't it? Yeah. But then again, it works the other way.
They'd be moving from places where they get bad scores. Yeah. So then they're not the people you want to associate with, are they? Let's be honest. People like me, Stephen.
I associate with you. I do.
Needs must at this point, though.
At least Sacha Lord's fighting for the pubs.
Yeah, good old Sacha Lord. I really like that because, well, the reason so you can go to the pubs on Monday.
Yeah.
You have to sit outside.
I don't drink.
But you're not allowed.
But I'll go for a lemonade.
Well, you can go and talk to other human beings.
It's not me talking to them. It's they don't want to talk to me.
You're just taking counsel.
I don't talk. I don't do this podcast. I don't do this live show because people talk to me,
All right, fair enough. But there's little silly rules with it where you can't go inside to pay.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Sacha Lord's fighting at the moment. He's saying, like, come on, let's just...
Because then you need one of those special machines, don't you? It's more money, more time, more effort, yeah.
You've already spent hundreds getting one at the bar with a big stretchy old-style cord, and it's like, oh, no, you're going to need 3 of them that you can take anywhere.
But this is the way we're going. More legislation, more sort of red tape, more rules over everything. And whether it's because these rules have got to tighten, combat money laundering, fraud, tax evasion, all that type of thing. They are restrictive, but I suppose if we go with the grain, just one of those things. Here's my passport. I've had the injections. I've got my bank account. Everything's in order. Well, it's what we've got to live with. It's just the way. I think the way things are going, and sometimes going with the flow and just saying, well, if I need to have a COVID passport, I need to have one.
Yeah.
Come and chip me. put a chip. You know,
tattoo on the back of your neck.
well, there is that argument that the other side, take all the conspiracy out. I mean, you go and pay for something, click, done.
I did. I wave my phone to pay now. And there you go.
Yeah, and it's still got a gadget. You've got to get out, and if you lose it, and you've got all the hassle and everything that goes with it. But I don't know. We've had there's so much about this conspiracy, but I'm not really into conspiracy. I just think things are probably as they are, and I go with the flow. This COVID thing is really shook the world, but it's created so many new opportunities for people as well. There's so many new ways of doing things. I mean, look at China, who invented the virus. No, they didn't invent it, did they? It started there.
I think that's still up for debate, but it
has
originated
created
in that area. Yeah,
loads of new billionaires supplying PPE and related things, and all these big business moguls that have created fortunes by people going online with everything. And where the big boys make money, the smaller companies can follow. Just follow what they're doing. Go online and make more unique products. But 14 billionaires. Is that right, Hayden? 14 billionaires. China's have become.
We did ask Graham to fact check that.
Did you fact check it?
I did. Yeah.
And is it 14?
It's well. There's 40 new ones in the world, and
14
new globally.
40 new billionaires in the world.
Yeah.
Do you know we need more of them?
And then why are you giving me all these words that don't necessarily go well with my accent? Okay. I struggle with this. Let me try.
Breathe.
We've got globally. We've got 40 billionaires.
Wow.
14 of
40
which,
more billionaires.
40 more.
40 more.
40 more
billionaires.
14 of which are in the China place.
The China place. Okay, well, but like I was saying, COVID is creating lots of opportunities, and it's changing industries, and things are not going to be the same. But I don't think it's going to be any drastic differences as things go back. We've got one of the things that have been talking to people about are sort of like the rents on bricks and mortar properties, because if you're online or your business has changed, and there's a lot of people out there in the high street. I mean, Greg's moving out the high street. All sorts of people are. So it means that there's going to be more scope for property. So if you do need bricks and mortar, or maybe there's time for negotiation. It's a good time to negotiate with landlords, because landlords are going to be sat on a lot of empty properties. But do bear in mind that when it does come to landlords, that they also have expenses, and they also have mortgages to pay, interest to pay, or maintenance to pay a lot of the time. So maybe negotiate, but a win-win situation. There's going to be plenty of opportunity for negotiating rent downwards, but be fair, because everybody's going to make a living. And if you generally in life, if something isn't a win-win situation, or everyone doesn't gain something, someone could end up going bankrupt, and we're all worse off. Anyway, that's just so just be reasonable. On that note, what are we doing? There's been a lot of talk about home offices. So if I think a top search in Google at the moment is garage conversions. So a lot of people are setting up little workshops and offices in their garage, or an extension, or in the home. This is, in my opinion, it's a great idea. I have a little office at home. Well, it's just a den that I've put a computer in. I do work from home, but I've always worked from home. A little bit of both, and I do think it's a good idea. And if you're in business, there's no harm having a space where you can work and plan from in peace and quiet. But there are implications to that. So, like for instance, insurance, especially if you've got people coming to your home to see you. If you're employing somebody working from home, that you do bear these things in mind, because they can be problematic if you don't get it right. And then, of course, there's other things that when you come to sell the house, as a living in your own home, when you sell your house, there is no capital gain on that. There's no tax to pay. Every penny is yours to keep. Every penny of profit is yours to keep. But if you're using your home and running a business, there may be a capital gains liability if you sell the house. So do check up on that. I mean, just because you've got a desk in your living room doesn't mean to say that that's the case. But it's worth looking into that type of thing. But at the end of the day, even if you do have to do that, but you can cut down considerable rents by working from home, then go ahead with it. I like working from home a little bit, but sometimes I like to know I'm going to an office as well, because you can get caught up in household chores and unnecessary conversations.
I saw Aviva put out a thing about this, because they've said a lot of companies, in terms of like insurance and things like that, they've actually been quite flexible this last year. They're like, yeah, we'll keep you covered. But Aviva have had to put a warning out, because people have got open flames, and also they're not just got a home office with a computer. They're making pottery and all sorts in the living room. So they've. What's the most ridiculous, dangerous thing you can imagine? Someone's trying it right now and then going, but this is my house, and it's like so they're having to say, just calm down, everyone.
Yeah, and there will be inspectors coming to check, won't they?
Yeah, of course.
As it gets into a thing, but a lot of it's common sense. But just because it's your home doesn't mean to say you can do all of this. Especially all you home bakers out there, there's still got to be health and safety, and yeah. So, most people are daft. I thought that you're aware of this. You're looking at me strangely. You think most people are daft?
Just there's an above average intelligence, and there's always a below average, isn't there?
Where would you?
Where would I be?
Just where would you rate that?
I'm just saying. I'm saying most people. Well, okay.
I'm sorry. Just simple. Where would you rate it?
Look, right. You said most people.
I'm quite sensible.
And I pulled a face. I didn't expect you to get me up on camera and talk about the face.
Some of my best friends are a bit simple.
I was just gurning off camera. Yeah. I've got some really simple friends, and it's not a reflection on those.
Honestly. You're going to tell me in a minute that some of your best friends are Jewish, aren't you?
No.
Oh, why?
No.
Why would you say that?
Because I asked him, and he made very clear day one. He said, Graham, we're not friends, and we never will be. You made it very clear to me. I took that to heart. I wrote it down and everything.
Made you a coffee.
Yeah.
What?
When was the last time you made?
He never made me a coffee. I just let it go.
Yourself.
Sorry, I asked a member of staff to make a coffee.
The record, I know I'm not on camera, so forgive me. You said working from home in the office, you can get caught up in household chores.
Yeah.
What are we talking? Cleaning around the toilet?
No, I didn't mean actually cleaning anything. I mean, some
observing other people doing.
Yeah,
chores.
but when I say chore, have you ever tried listening to some of the people I live with? Not you, Melanie. Not you.
Oh, that went well.
Subtle.
Do you know much about making tax digital?
No, please tell me.
Because I did.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. No. What's happened is that now from April, you got a situation where companies not registered for VAT are now still going to have to be filing accounts quarterly. So that's going to be a massive upheaval for people. And the tax element, where we used to have to file an annual return, it's now going to also start being the year after. It's also going to start quarterly accounts. So it is a massive problem. It's not a massive problem to people that are organised. Sorry, guys, but you're going to have to really get this paperwork thing under control. You've got to remember that sometimes when paperwork's bad, you're not. It's an indication of lots of other problems, and the real upsetting thing is that HMRC don't always differentiate between people who are careless or a bit scatty to people that are actually deliberately committing fraud. It's unpleasant dealing with it, and I've it's not that HMRC inspectors are particularly obnoxious, because they're not, but they are following a routine, and they do have to tick boxes, and it makes their life so much more difficult to help you when things aren't bad. I mean, Graham, have you ever had a tax investigation?
No, sir. No.
Really?
No, I don't.
Just bailiffs and police.
Yeah, just the police so far. And the mental health
have you
workers.
Never had bailiffs
obviously.
round?
No, I've never.
I have.
I try to keep on top of things like that. I don't.
Them.
Yeah.
Thick shits, honestly, I hate them. And it's mostly. I mean, we had one a while ago, and it was just rubbish. I had to pay just to get rid of them. It was a rates bill, business rates, and we didn't even owe it. But just to get rid of them, I paid it, and it took the rates people over 1.5 years to refund it to me. And I just got it wears you down. But it's terrible. This is another thing with lack of paperwork. I mean, I had the paperwork that just blank, you know. But I wanted the police to come, but the police wouldn't come, and you know, in the end, I just had to pay it. But in fact, do you see this? That says 0 because they tried it again this year, and then we showed them everything, and now they've had to raise the nil. So, you know, good paperwork. No,
I love that you've just got that there.
I had it there.
That wasn't planned.
No, because it's not that I hate the rates department or the council anyway. I just think if they just took better care in what they're doing, we wouldn't have so many people getting upset about business rates. You know, it's just you don't know whether it's an awful system or people just.
I've worked at the council, man, and it's
what did you do?
It's not. I was on the shared housing team, so I was moving homelessness people, and with almost no effort whatsoever, I was one of the best people in Manchester. Right. Like we're talking about very experienced people, and it's clicking boxes.
Yeah, but they don't do it.
But they do the wrong box, so they put the wrong thing in,
and they don't listen. And it's like years ago. I was with a client, and he was really annoyed. Something with the bailiffs again, with the rates department of rates. He didn't have a premises. He'd not been in for 5 years, but they still had him as owning it, renting it. And he actually got a letter. They wrote them a stinking letter, scrumpled it up, and then put big letters pre-scrumpled for your convenience. And I thought that was quite good. You know,
that is kind of adorable.
It deflated, but. You know, do keep your paperwork. But I think now they've actually been. I don't like listening to the online gossip. It's not gossip. It's like they come up with these new ideas of what they're thinking of doing.
What's the gossip?
No. It's not. I don't mean gossip.
Are you going to tell me later?
No. It's like they come up with what might happen or might not happen, and now this talk on reforming the business rates so that they'll abolish business rates as they are, but bring in something called, I made a note of it before, something, I can't find where I've made the note, but something called capital value tax. And it means that the owner of the property, because remember rates, people pay rates when you rent a property, but now it'll be the owner of the property that pays the rates. So, or the capital value. So it'll be based on the value of the building. The owner, whether he's an occupier or rents it or whatever, will have to pay those rates, which means that they'll obviously be passed down in rent again. But it also means that all the concessions that people get based on their individual trading circumstances will probably go, and the landlords will have to be responsible for it. So I'm not sure how that would work, but it's not coming in. It's just something they're talking about at the moment.
Is this local to Manchester? Or is
no,
this,
it's across the country. I mean, a lot of things are tying up across the country, across the world. Like what's that other thing they're coming? Or they want to try and do is a uniform capital taxes, corporation taxes.
Yeah, global uniform. Yeah,
that means right across the world. So that will mean lots of cooperation between revenue collection departments across the world to homogenise tax across the. I think in principle it can be quite good, but I'm not sure if
lots of things in principle are quite good, but the reality,
you get people that can't tick the right boxes and start sending out inspectors to terrorise people. But it's just while we're on the subject of tax investigations, the years ago when I first came into practice, there was a sense of you dealing with quite difficult tax inspectors, quite stern, out to get you, out to destroy you. And it's an image that's stuck with the taxman for many, many years. In fact, years ago, I actually had a client in Gravesend down south, and I had to go down to I went with Tony, one of my colleagues, and we had to go down because this guy would not let the tax inspector into his house, which is where he worked from, and he had two big Doberman, and the dogs were just sat there growling at the inspector. So we had to go down to sort of keep everything calm while the inspector was there. So there was all those stories where people used to say, well, I'm bringing the inspector in and I'm putting him in this room without a window and it's freezing cold, I'm turning the heating off. When we deal with inspectors, we have tea and biscuits.
Is that because they're scared of you?
No one's scared of me. It's because the people in tax inspectors and VAT inspectors, they're people. They're not
Yeah, of
for
course they
there
are, yeah,
to
yeah.
stitch you up. They're there to tick boxes and make sure that they understand how your business works. And invariably, they will help people to get their business on the right track. They're not there to stitch people up. But if you start taking the piss and hiding income and lying, they usually don't ask a question unless they already know the answer. So you probably, and I remember they deal with every business in the country, but the way to deal with a tax inspection is just to be cooperative. That they'll get a letter, and usually it's just querying a certain aspect, like why is your petrol bill so high? What's this mean? What does that mean? Why are you paying that? And they'll go through that, and if you can answer the question sensibly, you can say, "Oh, I've made a mistake," and it'll be fine. But as long as you're sensible and you provide the information when it's asked for, then you'll have a relatively clear sailing.
Do you know, I did have that once actually with is it the working families tax when you've got a kid? And I think my baby was like 2 and I was exhausted. I'm working through the night and stuff like that. And they did phone once to check my change of circumstances.
Yeah.
And the entire call was done via my partner because I was just in bed screaming, "What do they want?" And she was just like, "He's asking what you'd like." And they want to know if anything's changed. And I'm like, "Everything's the same. Tell him to go." And I'm so glad I had her translating for me.
Quite often,
because that was awful.
If you just answer sensibly,
Yeah.
But the trick is, if you do the books properly, then you have no worries. And good books is good business because you can do lots of other things with good books.
I think my earnings have gone down.
Like the good book says.
Yeah. Oh, the good book. We're there.
No, if you keep good books, and if you can't do it, I'll do it for you. I have no problem with it. We've got loads of software. There's loads of software as well that can really help in all of this. But tax inspections, you'll get an initial letter of inquiry. Answer the questions as best they can. If they want to come and look at the books or pick them up, go through them. They'll sit there, ask you questions about you, the business, how things operate, and then you can answer them, and they'll cross-check some invoices. The biggest problem you have is if you want to make a claim against tax or for VAT, but you don't have that invoice, then they won't allow the claim. So and if you've got payments going out that you can't explain or lots of cash being drawn from the bank, and it's just about having sensible explanation for what you do. Sometimes they look a bit further because it's like if you're a shop that doubles up, then you're on the prices, then you'll have a 50% gross profit. But if that drops or goes too high, then they might want to know why. So we're always looking. I mean, as accountants do as well, we're always looking to keep businesses at a certain level. We don't like that. We don't like things go up and down because it's warning signs that something's wrong, and we need to balance things off. So just bear that in mind. This is another thing with when people are sole traders. Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing at me?
I just thought that was the end of a segment, so I was trying to get your attention to let you know.
Yeah.
Kirsty's been in touch to confirm you never brew up.
Yeah.
Not even at home.
I get people to do it. I ask nicely.
Not when you're at home, you don't.
My Melanie doesn't even let me go in the kitchen. Okay. She does everything for me.
Okay.
She puts my socks out in the morning. She gets a scraper for my underwear. She's just does everything for me.
You've got to do. Look, right, okay.
But that's what women are for.
Look, it's fair
to be
enough.
Cherished and make coffee.
It's fair enough that you never brew up, but you've got to do it like once every 6 months. Just do one for Kirsty, just for that. No.
I don't get the words you're saying.
I can feel it now. You're thinking, who's this little shit giving me advice? Who does he think he is telling me to brew up? That's what it'll be. As soon as this camera's off, that's what he'll do, everyone.
Would you like me to get you a coffee?
No, I don't want to.
No, I was just going to see if Hayden would mind popping upstairs.
Oh, yeah, that's less likely than you making one.
And you hold it as a badge.
Apparently, she wouldn't accept it anyway, because apparently you'd spit in it anyway.
That's part of the charm.
He wouldn't. That's unfair. He would get one of the juniors to do it.
No, I wouldn't ask them to spit in it. I'd just say it's for me.
Yeah, then there you go.
So spitting in coffee from tax investigations. Okay. So we mentioned making tax digital, so I can finish that one. What else have you?
I tell you what, I've got to say on that as well. Just before we move on, I think there is a lot of investigations coming because obviously we've had all the COVID relief loans and all that, and there's people claiming people have been allowed to claim without evidence, and I've seen a lot of stories recently reminding people that they can look into your bank accounts without asking.
Yeah. And the way that filing's done now, they can see the makeup of the VAT returns. So they don't even need to come and see anymore, and they can go into bank accounts. They can do anything they want.
Well, but I've seen a lot of gentle reminders.
But if you do it right, it doesn't matter. If you do things properly, and it's not even if you do it wrong. If your intention is to do it right, they'll correct it. It's where they see things that they think might be a bit deliberate or constantly stupid, or what they hate most is missing paperwork. That's going to get you. That's really going to get you. And to be honest, as an accountant, it really slows down our job, and it really makes our lives. I mean, constantly upstairs, you hear grumblings. So where's the paper? Where's the paper? Why is that missing? Why is that missing? Don't people know how much trouble they can get into? It's a constant gripe. It really is.
Well, that was the thing for me with that screamy phone call I had. I'd registered as self-employed, but I was still PAYE at that point.
Well, you can be both.
And but they were just clarifying it,
Yeah. But with this is another thing. When people are sole traders, they'd probably be mostly better off having a company, because you've got so much more protection and potentials for tax savings than just being a sole trader. The other thing we mentioned before about Companies House is that Companies House is where everybody files their accounts and they keep a log of who's who in the various different businesses. And now for the first time in years and years and years, decades, they're having a revamp on the information held at Companies House. This is another thing coming. It's not there yet, but now that it's coming, we've got to start preparing for it, because it will come, and it's been predicted it'll come, where there's far more information having to be kept at Companies House. That means the public can see a lot more, but it means that you can see that the HMRC and the government in general are really tightening up on on money laundering, on tax fraud, on general fraud and bad behaviour, and this is going right across Europe, right across the world. So there's going to be no escape. So let's run the businesses properly, and we can make money. So have you got money hidden away in Switzerland?
This isn't why I voted Conservative. This is disgusting.
Yeah. This is the communists doing this. This is not political. It's not political.
I'm just messing.
It's business. It's you voted. Well, they wouldn't have made any difference. I mean, it's not a political thing. Governments might say when they're canvassing that we'll do this with tax rates, but there's a practicality to it, and I think there's a change in temperament as well, because I think people are more involved and more aware of the damage that money laundering and tax evasion does. The only thing is that I'm thinking is that they take the same stick to a little market trader that they do to a big multi-billion-pound company, and I think. In England, I think they are. We've got visitors out there. No. So, but that's really the main thing to keep an eye on. Paperwork. But I didn't come on here to lecture. Just came here to have a chat.
It's interesting though, because the thing is, you live and breathe this stuff, so. It might be dead obvious to you, but it's actually quite interesting.
No, people need to be aware that paperwork is important. In fact, if you get paperwork wrong, you're going to get everything else wrong. But while we're having a chat, we've been on LinkedIn quite a lot, haven't we? We do lots of postings on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I've actually spent most of this week trying to get on your LinkedIn.
Yeah,
I know. Nobody so far has given me a valid password.
But you're genius. Do you know the reason I mention it is because I find LinkedIn a bit more interesting than a lot of the other sites. It seems calmer somehow, not as frantic and people screaming, coming out with crap all the time. It's more gentlemanly, isn't it?
It's straight. You have to sort of filter out the sales pitches.
Yeah, there's too much of that.
But it's relaxed.
Well, this
nice.
is what we're like, isn't it? We don't go out blatantly selling. We do these things for the fun of it and as a way of getting to know people and communicating. But we're not really out there trying to push. And I think there's too much of that on LinkedIn. Everything you do, people connect with you. Why? I mean, I've got 4,500 followers. I don't follow anyone. But why? I'm not that interesting. So a lot of them are trying to sell things to me all the time. But you know, I do look at LinkedIn. There is some nice articles on that.
It's weird because you do get a little bit of the personal, like, oh, look at this cute video and this is me with my family and stuff, and it's like it's not all business. So there's kind of I see what you're saying. It's that softer.
Well, I think
it.
YouTube's I quite like YouTube as well, but with YouTube, there is what was I going to say? I've been getting bombarded with people saying to me, "Oh, I saw your video; it's fantastic. We can boost your sort of viewers, and we can boost your subscribers." And it's all robots, isn't it, or false? This one
work for it, Stephen.
Well, no, it's true. This one lady approached me online and said, for $99 we can get you 1,000 subscribers. I'm thinking, but it's not real.
They're not going to watch
and I went back to her and I said, it sounds a bit sleight of hand for me. And she just came back and said, well, it's more of a helping hand. And I'm thinking, how is it a helping hand? I just said, no, it's not for me. But you can boost ratings sometimes just by paying a little bit of money to YouTube to promote your videos to a bigger audience, not to sort of say, right, you're going to watch, just so that they can see and make the decision to watch. Now that's just like putting a poster up or advertising, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
So we tried that today, and
do you want a live report?
What's happened is that not only did Graham manage not to get any boost, but I think I'm losing. I think the people that have watched are now on doing it. You know, so the views are actually going down. So I don't know what you've done.
No, it's loading now. It's loading now. I'll let me tell you.
So go on. Have we had an increase?
No, we're still at 0.
Right. Okay. So organic growth.
Just give it a minute. Yeah, organic growth.
Yeah, organic growth. They've not taken any money either.
No, they've not taken any money.
It's that's the thing with me, man. I
was getting all hopeful that all of a sudden I was going to get hundreds of thousands of viewers, and everyone can see how wonderful I am and talk and gain from everything we do. Yeah, anyway, just thought I'd mention that. Graham, do you know what we've not done? We've not done your quote of the day.
No, we've not. And we've not. Before we do the quote of the day, though, can I just say, because we'll end on the quote of the day.
Okay.
Please subscribe to the podcast. Link in the description. There is one link there that will take you to all your favourite podcast providers. So if you want an audio version of the shows and the interviews, please go and check it out. It's right there. Because it's convenient, isn't it? People, it's on your smart speaker and all the rest of it. Yeah. Please do. Please.
I know. I need the followers. I need the subscribers.
Well, it's just convenient, isn't it?
And Graham spent so long putting all these podcasts together.
You just never mention it, though. That's the thing.
It's just because, do you know what? I should. I'm just not always thinking sell, or get people to watch me. I'm thinking of, not making too much of a fool of myself.
Well, this is why simple-minded people are so good at what you're doing right now.
Focus. Because single-minded, not simple-minded.
I meant what I said, and I said
what
I
meant.
Simple-minded
people, not single-minded people.
Dude, have you ever met any popular YouTubers? They're all idiots.
I've never met.
They're
anyone
awful.
Popular.
They're terrible people. Like Jake Paul and all those people. Yeah. They're terrible. But they're focused on like subscribe, and all that.
I've not really. I don't understand influencers. I think they irritate me.
I'm here to add a little bit of simplicity to the show.
You are. Oh, we had a good chat with Jody today. Jody Latham. Do you remember Shameless?
Yes.
So he's coming on the show. Have you booked him in? Haven't you?
He's booked in for the 22nd. So the interview it'll go live just after that.
This is Lippin, Shameless. He's a character, isn't he?
No way, that guy was he was him.
Did you not know who he was?
I didn't know he was him. I was just,
he was Lippin, Shameless.
I remember.
I think he was in EastEnders and a few others.
Do you want to hear something wonderful? I got lucky in America because of Shameless.
I don't.
Because of this accent. I was talking to this girl all night, and eventually it turns out she's a mega fan of Shameless.
Right.
Mega. Right. And the whole night she's been listening to me falling in love. Yeah. Me just talking like this, because she's,
We've had a few interesting people come through the studio. Do you remember when we had Bez in?
No, I wasn't here when Bez was in.
Right.
I did.
You were. You were. Well, he wouldn't even make him a coffee. The guy was collapsing.
I didn't make him.
I know you didn't make him. He was collapsing. What else can we talk about?
Well,
Asda, do you want to get that one out off our chest?
We were going to
leave that for next week.
No, well, that's an emergency one. I think if we don't do it next week, I don't think we should do it at all because it's a bit past the use.
I just think it's like them now re-identifying any job as the same value as any other job. I'm not sure where that's going to go for people. I don't think that's a good move.
Go on then. Seeing as you love this segment so much, let's end with quote of the day.
Go on.
Shall we? Here we go.
Yep.
Wait a second. It's gone on to 2 pages on my one. I formatted it for you.
Organisation is the best. Do you want me to say it?
Look.
I'll say it in a more cultured voice, so it might sound better.
Fine. Well,
Okay.
no, because you can't. Okay, go on.
Okay, no, go on. You say it in your common accent. You speak like the common man.
If your actions inspire others.
Oh, no. Say it properly. Now you're trying to copy a posh voice.
No!
That's it. Go.
If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. And that's John Quincy Adams.
I think my actions, being the accountant I am, make people dream more because they go to sleep.
Yeah.
You know.
You use your court accent for that.
My court accent. You've got to call them sir, remember that.
Well, I think that's a reasonable quote. Would you call yourself a leader?
In certain situations, I have been, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm not here to lead anything.
I'm not. I just do what needs to be done, and if it's the right thing.
You see,
great.
you're talking like a warrior again. You keep denying it.
A warrior.
A warrior.
No, I'm a warrior. I'm not a warrior.
I do what needs to be done.
I'm not a fighter. I'm not a lover.
I wake up.
I'm just an accountant. Yeah, I chronicle things. Anyway, we've been on for a bit today, haven't we? But thank you very much for joining me. Do subscribe to my channel. Do watch my Between the Spreadsheets show. Hayden's on at 10 o'clock with his trigger warning where he's going to be particularly obnoxious about something. But again, see you next week. Thank you for joining me. Good night.